Hey guys, it's Drac, and it feels like it's been forever since I did a mod that was actually for myself. I've been doing a lot of commissions recently, and this is a blaster that I've wanted to work on for a long time. In fact, ever since I saw FA24's longshot Lancer rifle, I really wanted to do a custom video game blaster of my own. As you can see, this is a model replica die cast of the battle rifle from Halo 3. I used to play Tournament Halo 3, and that was a lot of fun. It's definitely one of my favorite video games, but this is an excellent replica of the rifle that I'm going to be using to turn this stock yellow longshot into a battle rifle. I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I've recently found a really flat black that I like and will be using for the base. I've got a scope that I've already started breaking down to turn into a battle rifle scope. The detailing on this looks like I'm going to need some red for the handle. I'm going to need to brush in some of these accents and these triangles on it. It's just going to be a really fun project. And without further ado, I'm going to start breaking this down into a slightly smaller blaster. I'll probably use parts of the front gun to create a foregrip in front of the clip, and I'll show you what it looks like as I progress through it. Alright guys, so I have finished sanding down the battle rifle's body, which I have carved the front off of and the back at an angle. I've left enough on to get some grip with that foregrip that I'm going to integrate from the front gun. And I've left the holes here for the barreling materials to fit in at both slots. But I cut at an angle directly after the curve of this handle tack rail attachment at the top, so that it'll look pretty battle rifle-esque when I'm done. I've sanded everything down with 150 grit, and I'm about to go over it with 300 before I wash it and then paint it, because I want this paint job to be excellent costuming quality. I've also sanded the back here with 150, and I'll move on to the accessories, and I'll show you what it looks like as I lay it out to paint next. Hey guys, it's Drac, and I'm working on the battle rifle. Before I paint it, I know I said I was about to, I wanted to integrate this piece from the front gun. I feel like this is an important piece to integrate, because when you integrate it like I have here all the way around, and then you putty over it like this smoothly with your finger, and then once you let it set and you sand over it, you're going to get a really smooth integration after you paint it. And the front gun pieces, you can see that I've carved channels here for the grip and sanded it down right here, and I've cut down the front gun pieces a little bit, just like that, so that now when I slide it in there, it makes for a very tight-fitting grip, and it's just really solid. It's a lot nicer than the other battle rifle that I've seen on YouTube, which is the inspiration for this mod, but he did it just by gluing it onto place, and it didn't look nice and it wouldn't function as well as this one. This is now a very solid custom grip with an integration. When I paint it, it's going to look a lot nicer for that. So I'm going to go do that now. While I'm working on the large amount of detailing on the battle rifle, I decided to get to work on some of the internals. This isn't going to have any sort of brass breech on it, because I want it to be more of a fun gun, not really a Nerf war, but more for Halo Nerf, obviously. And it's going to shoot stock darts or modded streamlines, so I'm not too worried about that. You can see here that I've started attaching some aluminum reinforcements, because I won't have that breech. I want to put as much spring power in here as I possibly can, and I don't want the bolt sled to break. So I carved out some of these aluminum pieces, and I've made a few of these. This isn't the last you'll see of them, and I sand them on both sides, the inside where I choose to apply it and on the side that I'm applying, and then I put a ton of epoxy in, 2-part epoxy. And then the real trick is to apply pressure while it cures, and I've been using this quick clamp to do it, so I have to do it one side at a time. But I've already done this side here, and I'm going to sand off the excess epoxy putty, and then I'm going to come in, put this other one on the other side, and this should be ready to go, because I used the excess epoxy putty to cover up the air release hole, and I've already come in and drilled out the air restrictor. After I came in and reinforced both sides of my bolt sled, then sanded it down, much like Rogue does his Indestructo bolt sleds, I came in and I tapped out this pin with a small screwdriver. After I tapped this out, I had the plunger assembly free from the bolt. Now, instead of doing an angel breech where I'd cut here and slide out to do the dead space removal, I've taken out the AR with my Dremel, and I've come in and added some 1932 brass. Now the 1932 has been greased up, and when I put a bunch of hot glue in between the black and the brass, it ought to remove the dead space just as effectively and yet still maintain this stock breech. I'll show you what that looks like when it's complete. I just wanted to make a quick segment on this battle rifle plunger before I put it back together, showing you that I've sanded down the epoxy I covered the air release hole with so it's completely flush. I came in and I did a pretty traditional spring addition in that I put in a big bad bowspring in addition to a black longshot spring, so this will get nice ranges. I've come in and I've added Teflon tape, re-greased everything with my silicone grease, and I doubled up the O-rings so that now the air seal is just perfect. Also, the dead space removal that I did turned out very nice and even adds a little bit of padding in a sort of way because the hot glue has more give to it than the black plastic originally did. So I'm going to start putting this back together and I'll show you what the cosmetics are turning out to be.